Hello, my name is Randy Thomas. I pastor First United Methodist Church in Fort Stockton, Texas, the Church of the Second Chance. And I was just thinking, I was looking in the scriptures, just wanted to send out this kind of a little devotional, little brief devotional talk that I wanted to share. And I'm just wanted to turn to the very first part of the Bible itself, in the book of Genesis, in the first chapter, and reading verses 1 down through maybe verse 6 or so. I haven't really just thought this out a lot, but I want to read a few verses here that we find in Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So the evening and the morning were the first day. I'd like to read just a little further. Then God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." Thus God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. So the evening and the morning were the second day. As you look at that passage of Scripture and you think about it, it describes God's great creation. And at the conclusion of it, as God has made all things, when we think about that, he created, as it talks about here, day and night, created the waters and the atmosphere above the earth, the waters upon the earth, and he created the dry land and the seas. He created the sun, the moon, the stars, the plants, and the coming up of the seeds, the plants producing the seeds that would come up and reproduce on the earth. The birds of the air, the fish of the sea. He created the great mammals, the reptiles, the amphibians, everything that is. And when he had made it all, and he looked upon it, it says in verse 18, and God saw that it was good. And I think when we look at that, it just means it was perfect in every way. And, I could talk a long time about those verses, this passage, this chapter, in fact, in Genesis chapter 1. But I just want to focus on one thing. This week is considered Earth Day during this week, and that just reminds us of the earth, and as believers, it reminds us that God is the creator of all things, and that he's given us stewardship, certainly, and given us charge to take care of this earth. But, in the midst of what we're going through and what we've experienced, there is hope, and I find it in this very chapter. Years ago, when I was a child, we sang the song. You don't hear it much anymore. He's got the whole world in his hands. And I looked up and I found on YouTube the very popular recording of this. It was in the 1950s, and I don't even remember that particular recording, but it says her name was Laurie London. I think it was the 1950s that she recorded it. Anyway, 1940s or 1950s. But he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got you and me, brother, in his hands. It talks about he's got you and me, sister, in his hands. He's got the little bitty baby in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. And because of that truth, he's the creator. He's the one who made it all, that it exists and continues to exist, and things take place, the processes of all life and all the natural world that we live in. It continues to take place because he holds it all in his hands. So in the midst of our trials, our troubles, our situation, and I know there are financial troubles, I know there are difficulties out there regarding some may physical physical problems one may be going through, but even just the discouragement and not being able to see one another and be in church together. But I want you to know that all is not lost. And the reason all is not lost is because he has the whole world in his hands. And he's going to take care of us. He's got you and me, brother. He's got you and me, sister. He's got that little bitty baby. He's got us all in his hands. And let us never forget that. God bless you.